can you please tell me what I did wrong? Ha ha ha. Played off the word can, all right? Uh, can is a stock. Somebody who I know that asked me, what did I do wrong? I could have, I ended up getting out of this trade too early. Could I have anticipated better? Is this like one of those meme stocks? No, it wasn't a meme stock. It's a different company. It's a different company you can research on your own in terms of fundamentals. But this particular company and individual had managed to get in at 189 back in September, actually September of 2020, and they managed to get all the way at $16. There it is, $16 right there, which ended up being a 746%. Now, of course, they were beating themselves up. They got out somewhere probably here. So they had to have held it probably for half a year. Let's put that 16 just to put it on there. And they're like, oh, did I miss? Well, how could I have gotten that part? Because of that 746% could have easily turned out to be somewhere around, let's make sure that the numbers are exactly the same here, 1.9 to the high, would have been 1,968%. So over almost 20x rather than 8x. So could they have done anything different? And they asked me to take a closer look. Could you please? And see what, might have been a little different. Now, first of all, congratulations, because that's awesome. That's an awesome trade. 8x is profit. It's a tremendous amount of profit, and not everybody catches those. So congratulations on having caught that. So, second of all, if you guys, hopefully by the end of this video, you've gained something of value and you like this video, and if so, then please give it a like and subscribe so we can keep bringing this to you. And finally, make sure that you are clear that we're doing it for entertainment purposes, not suggesting it to anybody to do any kind of investing. So it's up to you to that, and you've read the disclaimers. But that being said, let's take a look if there's anything they could have done differently. Now, first of all, it's awesome that they caught this, and we see a lot of this. Let me hide it for the moment. We see a lot of this happening in some of the meme stocks, like GameStop, like AMC. Like prior to there being some big jumps, you see something like this. And actually need to unlock it here so I can draw it the way I want. So we see something like this. Now that's accumulation period. You see a couple little bumps of volume that jumped in there, telling you, hey, somebody might be getting ready for something. And then these next cycle of the next two little jumps there, they're sort of shaking out the opportunity for those individuals that, got really good profit there. They're like, yeah, I'm happy with it. And some people are buying in here. And then it takes off, right? So it does a breakout and it takes off to huge levels. So how might that have been played a little different once you knew what was going on, and if you're wanting to have a better outcome? Now, this is where having a better understanding of some of the tools. Fibonacci probably would have helped a little bit. So let's do some of that. You guys know that I like to play with those. So let me make sure I got that 189 somewhere in here. And as things started to, let's go make this so we can reverse it there. Make it so that it's gives us a pretty good idea. Look at this. If this happened to have been a super cycle and they were just going straight off the fibs, anywhere in here would have probably been a reasonable way to get out. And that would have been a nice place to benefit. And forget that last little part, you would have missed that. But these are people that are getting stuck, unfortunately, and have to wait out a long period of time or take losses. Also, let's take the lowest point, even though that's 189. Is there anything lower to give us a little more accuracy? Okay, it looks like that's about it. So that would have been one way. The other way is also taking a look at what did it do after it did one cycle, two cycles. This is the third, and usually 3 is kind of where it ends, but that fourth or fifth cycle that sometimes happens is people buying in last minute, just trying to make sure they get a piece of it, and oftentimes they get stuck. So how can we avoid that? One of the things that a lot of times we see is when you see a move like this happen, you'll see that whatever that last movement to that last high generally tends to repeat itself. It doesn't happen all the time, but what we can do is make a copy of this particular one and drag it over to somewhere, whatever the lowest point, if we want to be more conservative, and say if that's the lowest point where it got that following week, I would probably shoot to have a target somewhere around here. Now, that having been said, one of those things that's once if you had a stop loss down here and you've got these kind of gains, not losing those gains is super important, and actually keeping them and keeping yourself from being stopped out. So where would be places that might be good to do a stop loss? I mean, if you don't understand what a stop loss is, then you should be. If you're trading, you definitely want to make sure that you're clear on where that stop loss is, so that you can trail behind the move and be sliding it up as things start to happen. So initially, it would be somewhere in below or below this. I mean, you can even have gone to here, so the lowest gap right here, to have that, and then wait for that move to happen. And then if you see the next move jumped up, then moving that up below that one wouldn't be totally unreasonable. That would be a good place. And then from here, once it retraced back and it started to jump all the way back here. Here would have been a little riskier, that you probably could have got stopped out, or the open of this one right particular here, the close of this particular candle. That probably would have been reasonable, because at this point, somebody who is in would have been pretty happy with a 600% return somewhere around those lines, right? Now we're waiting for that next move, and if it does manage to break up and it takes off, once you see that huge candle take off and it starts to pull back, meaning sellers are coming in, then you are wanting to make sure that you continue to slide this baby up below each of the candles, and if you get stopped, then you get stopped. But let's say that we got stopped right there. Right here would have been 972%, so much better, and so on and so forth. So let me remove that for a moment. Take that. From here, look at that exactness of that move. Could I have gotten it more exact? Maybe if I went to the bottom here. Let's see where that lands us. Bottom of that move puts us right at the tippy top, and I don't know how much more accurate we can get from that. I guess we could do this one maybe, but then you would have just missed it out. So that would be crazy. All right, that being said, how does this play into some of the other, like GME or AMC? How can I manage so I don't get out too early? If we see a lot of volume coming in, and you've got these two little mounds right here, after they finish their cycles, if it does break to that upside, this is probably a pretty good place to be able to protect your assets, slide up a stop loss, and then from there, trying to write out as much as you can while you figure out if there would be a good target up in this region that you can see something and be able to benefit from. So I hope you found this useful. I wanted to make just a really quick video on this particular one for that friend of mine, so they can learn from that. And this is a good habit to pick up on any kind of trading. And once you've in a trade, whether you caught it or you missed it, there's a great opportunity for you to learn something. And if you got stung, meaning because you didn't catch all of it or you lost, those end up becoming a lot of times the best learning opportunities, because now you're in the question of wanting to know what happened and you pay a lot more attention to detail. All right, so that being said, enjoy. I hope this was useful to you, and go ahead and click that like button and share it with somebody. Have an awesome day.